Hi everyone and welcome back to the How to Craft Network. My name's Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush and I'm back today with another crafty video for you. So I'm going to be using some of our recent Thirsty Brush designs. I'll go through with you what I'm using in a moment. But just before I do that, just to remind you, if it's your first time here or you haven't subscribed yet, do hit the subscribe button and the bell and you will be notified of all our crafty videos. There's lots of us here that do all sorts of different techniques and crafts for our card making and more. So do hit that bell. Give us a thumbs up as well. We like to know. That really helps us with knowing what type of videos you like. If you enjoy a particular video, give us that thumbs up. So let me show you what we're going to be using today. I like to show you beforehand, so if you do have these designs at home, you can get them out. But if you haven't got these exact ones, they are either available on the Stamps by Me and Thirsty Brush websites, or you can use something similar that you've got in your stash as well. So that's no problem. So I'm going to use the Sprigs and Twigs die, which are these lovely kind of leaves, sprigs, berries, things and like that. This Hello Petal cover die, and the anemone frame that does come with a die as well. So I'm only going to use the sentiment out of that one though. If you want to see more on that one, do have a check out of the other videos. So I'll get my bits together. Card wise, I'm just using black, white and silver. So should be ones that you've readily got available. And finally, I'm going to add a little bit of colour with our Thirsty Brush watercolour palette. So the first thing for me to do is that I want to use the background die, so this Hello Petal, and I want to put the glitter card behind and I want to have the overlay of the design in white. So I need to die cut that out. So I just get my plates, and some of our cover dies come with no outline on the main die, but one separately, like this one, or some of them come with an outline die already built in and an additional one for a matte and layer. So I do want this to pop out of the card completely, so I'm going to be using both there. I've got a little bit of tape. Excuse me for 1 second. That's very silly of me to not have that prepared. There we go. Just a little bit of low tack tape just to hold that in place, and then I can run that through. So this is going to give us an all-over kind of pattern design. I was really inspired for this card by some posts by our design team earlier this week. You may have seen Leanne and Kerry on our design team. Leanne is normally the kind of rainbow queen, but I don't know whether Kerry might have, she's been rubbing off on Kerry this week because she's been doing the most amazing cards with rainbow and black and white. And I think that black and white combo with it really, really is stunning. So I wanted to create something a little bit similar, or certainly inspired by that. So just need to get rid of all those little bits, get them all off my plate. Oh, they've really stuck on there. I think this plate is heavily used. I'll get the rest of those off in a moment because I will need to do some more die cutting. And all these extra little bits out of here as well. So most of them just fell out, but just get anything extra. Now, if you're cutting it out of metallic or glitter card for this, imagine keeping all these and then using them for a shaker card would be really, really cool. I'll get those last couple out. And we're going to be able to see that beautiful shiny glitter card behind it then. So do say hi in the comments as well. This video is pre-recorded for when I'm in the HTCN studio doing my lives on Thursdays at 1 p.m. But this Sunday videos, I'm normally available in the chat as well, in the live chat. So if you haven't said hello to us before, do pop in. There's a great bunch of crafty people that watch most weeks. And of course, if you've got any questions, I can be available there to answer as well. So that's that. Let's get rid of all my rubbish. And what I want to do then is layer that over, and I'll do that on the card blank now rather than wait until the end, so I can make sure it's all there ready for me. So I've got an A5 card this time. I've got that silver glitter, and let's glue that on. I've cut this slightly smaller than the A5 card. Just hold that in place a second. And then, of course, you can cut this out in whatever colours you like, or you can do it the reverse, so the glitter is on top. It's just something magical, I think, about having glitter or metallic pop through from a plainer colour. Of course, you could do pattern papers, you could ink up your own design and then die cut the petals out. Just put in some random blobs. Whatever you want to do. So let's pop that on top. Try and centre it roughly. And this is glitter card, obviously, so I'm going to give it a good press. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this beforehand, so it's got time to really set before I start adding things on top of it, and this isn't really dry, so I'm adding a bit of extra reinforcement. If you've got that really fine red liner tape, that would be excellent, because that adheres to the textured glitter really, really well. Okay, so that's our card blank ready. Can you see the shine on there already? Is absolutely stunning. So next we need to think about what we're going to put on top. So the rainbow element of this, I'm going to use, got just a strip of watercolour card here and my watercolour paints. I've got some water and a little brush. So no real skill involved in this. I'm just going to take some colour and I'm going to kind of go through the rainbow in a few different colours across this strip. So I'm going to start out with some red, and there's hardly any water on that. I'm going to add some water to my brush and just blend it out slowly, just a little bit. And then let's add in some orange. I've got a little bit already there. So that red is still a little bit wet, so that should just blend nicely. Get loads of saturated colour. Bit of water on my brush again and blend out that orange. It should start to look seamlessly as if it's going to go from one colour to another. I think we need a little bit more red there. It's gone a little bit too dilute. There we go, and that's starting to blend. What we got next in the rainbow? Yellow. Again, plenty on. I'm not doing anything in particular in terms of technique here other than just getting one colour to blend into another. So green next. Got a little bit of green there, but it's quite dull. Let's add a little bit more of the bright green. I think lots of you have got this palette at home, but I think there are a few left on the website if you need it, or any other palette that you've got. You'll probably have these kind of, most palettes come with the ability to do a rainbow in some form or another with the colours that are on there, even with this palette that's only got 12. So this one, it's not blending the green and the yellow too much there, so I'm just going to clean off my brush and just damp. I don't want to flood it with loads of water. Just going to go back over, maybe and add a little bit of yellow again, and just get that to blend a little bit more. Sometimes just when you're doing a darker colour after a lighter one, it just needs a bit of encouragement. That's going nice. Blue next. I think we're going to have to go round again, aren't we, after? You could do this on an angle, like diagonals. Then just that damp brush, I'm just going to encourage it to blend a little bit more easier. So I haven't got a purple in this palette, but let's mix a bit of blue and red and see if we can get a kind of purpley one to go kind of in between before I go back round again just to the plain red. That's green. I think this is a dark blue. Not going to give you a vibrant, but if we can get it at least like a violety, it's more browny to be honest. Let's add a bit more blue. There we go. I think that's a bit more violet. Probably looks a bit darker on the camera than it does to me. But as long as it's something that can just ease that blend between the blue and the red so we can start the rainbow again. Okay, so we should be able to go back red again now. You can do thicker stripes if you want, so it only goes round the rainbow once, round each colour once. And this is the watercolour card, so that's why it's allowing me to blend nicely. Go orange again. Yellow again. And then we might get a bit of green, and then I think we'll be at the edge of the paper then. Last bit, last stripe. Okay, I feel like that's really standing out, that darker bit where I've mixed it. So I'm going to go back in again a tiny bit with that and see if I can just get that blue and red to blend in a little bit better. This is what's great about using watercolour card rather than your standard cardstock, is that you can almost like activate it again. You're going to get a bit of crossover, obviously. But let's see if we can just make it blend a little bit better. I don't want to overwork it too much, but I just don't want it to stand out as much as it is there. Tell you what I might do, just to take it back a little bit, and try with a bit of kind of kitchen roll, just to take some of that colour out. Oh, that's a little bit better. Great, okay. Well, we got our rainbow stripe. Wipe that down. While that's drying off, you could heat that with your heat tool, but I'm just going to leave it to dry off. I want to do a few sprigs, just die cut. So I'm going to do them from grey. So back with the die cutting machine plates. I've still got a few petals on there. Let's quickly scrape those off. Don't want them to stop and get in the way of my cutting. There we go. So let's think about which ones. Let's have a leaf, a berry, sprig, maybe one more. Let's try that one. That should be enough, I think. I'll just hold those down. And let's run that through. And the only stamping I'm going to do on this card is just for a sentiment that I'll do in a moment, and I'm going to use some of our embossing pages. So those. So it's crazy with this die set because I know I keep using it and the design team girls keep using it, but I think that's a testament to what a versatile and inspiring set it is, because we just can't leave it alone. And every card that I think of making, I think I could put some sprigs in there. So it's one of those ones that I just keep getting out again and again and again. So those are my little sprigs. I've got my rainbow, and let's get a sentiment. So I'm just going to use the one, remember I talked about the anemone frame. I'm just going to use this "Hey, it's your birthday" for there. And I'm going to stamp it on. I have a little black piece of card somewhere. Thought I had one smaller. Ah, I know where it is. I pre-prepared it in my Eureka. So I'm just going to pop that on there. And the embossing pages that I'm going to use, one of our sets that is always a really good seller, and it's called the Not So Basic set. It was the first launch of embossing pages that we did at Thirsty Brush. And it's called Not So Basic because you've got 3 colours that you absolutely need in your stash if you're a heat embosser, as I'm sure you will know, which is True Black and Pure White, which are both high gloss, and then Crystal Clear, which is a clear. So yes, they're amazing, and that's why you need them, basic, but they're high quality and they're my absolute favourite embossing powders. So let's use the white and the black. Oh, sorry. So when you're doing any colour on black or dark card, plenty of your anti-static powder. You don't want any white or other colour speckles on your black card. You want that to look as crisp as it can be. This is quite a sketchy font though, so it is quite forgiving if you're not the best embosser or you're just learning that skill. Let's just grab a piece of something to catch the excess. So pure white is exactly that. It is pure. Don't worry about any anti-static powder on your dark card. That will just brush off after you've done your heat setting. I think maybe I probably should have stamped twice there and gone back in with my Eureka. There's an odd little bit it hasn't stuck to, probably because of the hot lights, but that's fine. You'll get the idea and see how glossy it is. So that comes popping out. Hey, it's your birthday. One little tip though, if you do white heat emboss on black card here, and if you have missed a bit in your stamping, it happens even with amazing embossing ink and powders like we do. If you haven't gone back in twice or you've missed a bit, if you've got a white gel pen, so rather than having to do the whole thing again, you can just fill in. See, it didn't pick up the dot there just because of I didn't press it hard enough on the Eureka, or it's dried out with the hot lights. And you can just fill in any gaps without thinking that you've ruined your project or you've got to do it again and it's a waste. So that's what I was saying about that anti-static powder. You're not much of a heat emboss and you think, oh, that lovely dark card, it just rubs off perfect. So I'm going to trim that down. So it's the right size for my card. If you've got some little die cuts, like little plain rectangles or anything, to save you doing this, I'll just eyeball it, I must admit. Not even measuring here. Just trying to make it pretty straight. There we go. And then I think we're almost ready to put everything together, aren't we? Oh, one last thing I might do is just matte and layer that rainbow on the black as well, just to make it really pop out. So if I glue it, I'm sure lots of you do this already, but rather than measuring that piece of card and thinking, oh, I've got to cut a piece now this size and then it's not quite right, you've measured it wrong, I just go in the corner, leave as much, a mil or two, and then I've just got to do 2 cuts. The other side, then once that's glued on. And that one. And oh, maybe a tiny bit more on there. I don't think I did that quite straight. And there we go, that's matte and layered on then for me without any measuring. I think it's quicker like that as well. But we all have our own little ways of doing it, don't we? Which is what makes us all individuals. So I'm going to lay the rainbow over there. About 2/3 of the way up. And I did measure the original strip that it fits on my A5 card blank well. So that's the only bit of measuring I did do. And then I'm going to raise this with a bit of foam so we can tuck our little sprigs at the back. So if I put 2 pieces of foam there, I'm not completely covering it in foam because I want to be able to have a bit of space. Let's do it. Actually, yeah, if I wasn't totally happy with that bit, this is actually quite a good opportunity to cover it up. There's always a way to bring something back if you're not 100% happy with it. And let's chop into these little sprigs a little bit, maybe. Just going to use, that's a 3, I've just taken out 2 of them, just to give me more options. Oh yes, that dot bit's almost completely covered up now. I've just gone rogue and I'm just tearing things up now because I can't see my scissors on my trolley and I don't want to go hunting for them again. So they're a good size as they are, but if you want them just smaller, just chop into them. If you feel that you're not as confident with placement with things like this that are just kind of random, then don't put your glue on straight away, just maybe practice layering them out and then go back and add your glue after. And then after a while, you just kind of get used to it. I think this will be my last one. Maybe, yeah, let's put this in as well. I think the grey ties well with the silver and then the black and white. Like I say, it was really inspired by the design team girls with doing their rainbow cards, and not just rainbow with white, but rainbow with black as well as white. So quite clean and simple, but a nice bit of watercolour blending, a nice bit of die cutting, nice bit of glitter, and a really modern looking card. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It's a pleasure as always to be here in the Hair to Craft Network studio. There's tons to come from Thirsty Brush, and of course check out Stamps by Me, I'm Marla, Pretty Penny and Avogo Ink too. I will be back with you at 1 p.m. on Thursday for Thirsty Thursday Live. Take care.